discuss now with what we know with the retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton, who served as the Assistant Vice Chief of the U.S. Air Force. General, good to talk to you as always. This was a pretty intense search involving the U.S. military over the last few days here. Can you sort of give us a sense from a military perspective here of sort of all of the resources that were put forward to try to hopefully, at least that was the hope at one point in time, find these individuals?
Well, Blake, good afternoon. It's certainly a somber day, certainly for those families and friends of those who were lost. But the Rear Admiral that we saw at the top of the story, rather dejected in his comments, by the way, because the mission of the Coast Guard is to not only do search and rescue, but to bring back people alive. But nonetheless, he was the unified commander of not only the United States Coast Guard efforts, but also with Navy involved, but 3 other countries, France, United Kingdom, and Canada were on scene. There were a number of research vehicles out there. There were a number of civilian company vehicles, as well as Coast Guard assets and Navy assets. And so it was quite a search and rescue effort, both on the surface as well as below the surface. And so that's significant to point out. But nonetheless, it appears, as Kelly says, it's still unclear right now. But what I suspect is the National Transportation Safety Board or others will be really taking a really deep look at this. In fact, they're probably already starting their safety investigation. And so I'll put one more hat on. I'm an Air Force trained Air Force Safety Investigation Board member, an Accident Investigation Board member, and that's starting right now. It's very important that they acquire as much information and details surrounding this incident.
General, stand by real quick. Morgan, as someone who was at the State Department for quite some time, what is the government-like effort to sort of, bring all of the forces for an event like this?
You're not going to have, you'll have state involved maybe in some aspects, so there's so many different nationalities involved, and so you'll try to help with disaster assistance. And in a situation, this is just 5 people that were lost, but anytime that you have people, that you have a ship or anything that's gone down, state will help from a disaster response perspective. I do think that we could highlight and I'd love to hear the General talk about this, the Flyaway Deep Ocean Salvage System that belongs to the U.S. Navy. That seems to have really been highlighted in these efforts, General. I'm not sure what you'd like to tell us about that.
Right, Morgan. There's we have a number of capabilities. The challenge in putting these capabilities into operational play is really getting them to the site of the disaster, point one. But point two, there will be extensive efforts to try to recover the debris field, if you will. I understand it. My sources tell me before I came on air that there's 5 major debris fields, if you will, on the floor near the bow of the Titanic. That's at 1,600 feet. So this is going to be a very difficult salvage operation. And we're not talking in terms of days, more. We're talking in terms of weeks. Secondly, this environment is one of the most unforgiving environments on the planet on our planet. So it's a very difficult place to operate and very difficult place to certainly try to do a salvage operation, much less a rescue operation at this point.
General, this is Julia Manchester from The Hill. I've heard this search operation described as like finding a needle in the haystack, and you touched on this a bit just now, but what do you think was the most difficult part of this search? This is obviously a big area geographically, but it's also extremely deep. What was the most difficult part in your opinion?
Julie, many difficult parts here. First is getting to the scene of the incident. Number one, you're rushing against the clock. Reportedly, if they had somehow made it to the bottom of the ocean there, or maybe were stuck somewhere in between the dive, they were down to 96 hours perhaps of air. So that's on people's minds. Secondly, though, it is a vast area, and as I mentioned, it's an unforgiving environment. The other aspect of this is leading the effort, organizing the effort, much less, but leading the effort when you've got, as I mentioned, the French, the Canadians, and the British are there, along with some civilian capabilities, and just trying to muster that unified team to go, create a rescue opportunity here. But I think early on, we're going to find out that probably in this free fall descent that started on Sunday morning, then we lost contact about an hour and 45 minutes later, as Kelly alluded to. That could have been the point where perhaps the crew was lost. By the way, I have no insights to that at all. It's just very conjecture. I'm careful when I offer that conjecture at this point. But nonetheless, we did not know, and we kept really doing everything we can to try to rescue these people. But I think early on we'll discover that perhaps in a matter of milliseconds that they were probably lost early on.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.